I'd like to welcome everyone to today's working session of the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. This meeting is being recorded for playback later on WRPS Rockland. The listings of matters, those reasonably anticipated the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting, and all items may be in fact discussed or brought up. That'll take a motion to open the meeting.
Make a motion open the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
Mr. Ashton is a yes. I am going to change the agenda around a little bit, just to talk about the superintendent's job description while we have Rick here for 10 minutes or so. That's what we're, yeah, sure, yes, I know. What we're looking at is the superintendent coming in, a superintendent. We're not finding the ideal qualifications in the candidate we want. We're trying to make changes on the fly to the job description. I don't want to go in, we can't name names. We have a gentleman coming in this next Tuesday. Some of the day-to-day activities, let's take it this way. Superintendent comes in. He'd usually be the one doing markouts, right?
Actually, it's part of our contract,
Okay,
so,
that's the answer. Okay.
yeah.
Who does the markouts? I mean, Viola does the markouts. Okay, let's talk grease trap inspections. When they have, say China Plaza. What is the superintendent's role in that grease trap inspection?
So that's 100% the superintendent's responsibility. Yeah. Typically what they do is, they're always early, they're like 5:30 in the morning, thereabouts. And they go out to the site, wherever it is. And then they're basically making sure that it gets pumped correctly, looking at the grease and all that stuff.
Okay, and I'm gonna throw something out to you and to feel free to challenge it, okay? What the vendor, the contractor, say for example, I'm gonna use China Plaza, pays to have that pumped out, correct?
Correct.
Now, if they don't have it pumped out correct, it comes in, it screws us up, but we'd have a way of finding out and backtracking it, correct?
Well, that's why visually the superintendent goes out.
Okay.
That's always been
Is that something he has to do while they're there, or can he go out later that day and verify it?
typically you want to go out there as it's being done.
Okay, so grease traps are done.
Okay.
Okay, what else in the field work on a daily basis would the superintendent do? Go job sites,
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
job site inspections?
Yes. I mean, obviously, the board right now has a lot of sites. You got all the I&I work that's going on that's throughout the town, so.
Okay, but if they didn't, let's put it this way, we've got, and I'm not being demeaning, I'm trying to figure this out. Right now, we have 3 crews out. He wouldn't stand there physically watching them all day.
No, absolutely. There's no reason for that. Yeah. What I would do, I'd bounce around from crew to crew. Just make sure they're doing what you're actually paying them for. They don't
so
have to sit right in the hole.
if let's say today, I'm looking at this as a fairly heavy week. We've got 3 crews out.
Yep.
You agree?
I agree. This is a
Okay, there is no real projects going on, construction projects, so really the only inspection are those 3 I&I jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Time-wise, I'm thinking from what I've been doing, going up, collecting sheets, watching them, I'm saying 5-10 minutes per visit.
Okay.
You agree,
Yeah,
disagree?
go in, talk to whoever's in charge of the site, see how they're doing, what they're doing, and then move on to another
Okay,
area.
so let's give it an hour. That's on a real busy week.
Okay.
And it's not really an hour. A construction site, I could see it maybe if it was a certain project that we have going on now that's a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I could see taking an hour or maybe a half hour a day. Make sure half hour in the morning, half hour in the afternoon.
Yep.
What else would he be doing?
Uh,
On the field, I'm talking.
yeah,
field.
right, out in the streets, you're basically saying, right? I mean, the pump stations are responsibility of Veolia, so there's nothing really to worry about. I mean, I think it's just the other day-to-day stuff that comes in through the town.
So it's the paperwork, it's the
Paperwork.
admin work.
Yes, I would say definitely the paperwork that's, that I know there's always meetings at the town hall. The superintendent always goes up there and,
Okay, I have to say 2 hours a week meetings.
Yeah.
2 hours a week.
Yeah, again, I'm not sure
I'm
because
saying,
it's not part of my.
I'm saying 2 meetings, 2 hours a week.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say, it's not a busy day, like, like today with these guys going out there. You wanna make sure you're doing your job and,
Oh.
again, you wanna make sure that you're paying the contractors out there and your superintendent is checking up on them. Is he actually
I
physically
agree with
doing the
that.
work? No, he's not. He or she would not be doing that. But again, you wanna make sure that they're out there doing what you guys are paying them to do.
Okay.
But,
All right, I'm not gonna hang you up, but if you would, you've got the copy of the resume.
Mm-hmm.
If you got any questions, would you like to interview them and talk to them? Would you like to participate? It's gonna be during the day.
right. I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that. Because obviously, whoever you guys end up selecting, I work closely with.
Right.
I mean, with previous superintendents, usually every morning we have a meeting, typically every morning, we talk what's gonna go on for the day, things like that. And if I need things, I sit down with that.
I would be a lot more comfortable with you participating. I think we scheduled it for 4 o'clock on the 2nd.
Okay,
We could turn them over to you for the first half hour, and
okay. No, I mean, I wouldn't have an issue with that.
I would appreciate it. You want to
Yeah.
have Megan involved too as well?
I can ask if she's available.
Yeah, if she wants to sit in, I think that'd be great.
When is that, May 2nd?
May 2nd,
Okay.
it's next Tuesday at 4 o'clock,
Here at the facility?
right here.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think it would be a good idea that I'm there.
I
Obviously-
think it is. I would
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, this way, I can kind of, work with him or her.
Yeah.
And see, that everything works out well and we choose the right candidate.
Right.
That you-
And like I said, you've seen, and I think I voiced Mike, I don't want to discuss it with each of the folks. But I can meet with you one-on-one anytime, so
Yep.
you know my concerns on it,
Yep.
and you've seen the resume.
Yes, yep,
So
absolutely.
we can talk later on. Okay.
All right, sounds good.
All right, thank you
Thank
much,
you,
and
Danny.
good luck with your digester.
Yes. Coming very shortly.
Okay, administrative update, Robin had to leave early, continuation of old business, the planning board, letter to the planning board. Anybody have any concerns with that?
No, that's what we just signed here.
No?
You signed two twice.
No, all we had to do was sign this
Just
one.
the one.
You told me to sign both of them.
No, no harm. All right.
No shot, no foul. Okay, I think what I did is I included the table so the numbers may help them out to see where we are. Connections, we're gonna move to connections. Now, what I wanna do is I wanna talk about 365 Concord Street. Granted, they're not here, but we are gonna be discussing negotiations with them. And I do not wanna go into any numbers at this meeting. But what I'm gonna hand out is that the fact that what we have our old bill sheets. I mean, we discussed this at the meeting. Originally in 2020, 365 came in at 40 units, and the fees we had in place at the time, the sum came up to $356,000. By error, they were quoted in June of 2021 by the former superintendent. Error being he didn't have the authority to quote them. He could quote them, but he couldn't tell them it was a rate. So they took it as the rate, and which was $172,950. With the fees that we have placed in for 2023, and to cope with the I&I situation per the EPA, we came up with an $868,717 fee for 19 units. What I came up with on that last sheet, without going into numbers, is what I'd like to propose as basically a starting point, because technically they have to put in a grinder station as well, which is probably going to be 50 grand, which was not originally quoted to them also. That they came in and that grinder requirement went in the year after, just before COVID. So I'm just giving you that to look at and mull over. We'll be discussing it again before, what we meet with them. But it's just food for thought for you guys, because I couldn't share that online and that, so I just want you to take a look. That's basically what I'm thinking. You deep in thought?
Well, I just have a couple of questions. 'Cause
Shoot, please.
I feel like at the time, the superintendent was quoting fees. That was part of their job.
But they were not firm, because they needed a vote. He
Okay,
can quote, but he can't say, this is your fee.
okay.
We could give them estimated, but the dilemma is, we didn't know about that, we weren't privy to that on any email, if you can look. He sent that on email to the administrative assistant and the former superintendent, the interim superintendent.
So we have. All right, I would like to look at the minutes.
Yeah, no, like I said, I want you to,
Yep,
I just
look
wanted
more
you
closely.
to know where I was coming from, what I'm thinking. Because what I would like to do is they're coming in on the 10th, I think we told them, for a working session.
All right, let me study on it.
Yeah, no, think it over, because he bought the land from the original developer. He went through the hoops with the other ones, but, you know, we still have that INI fee that we have to deal with. We can't be giving that away much longer.
I mean, we gave him a discount of $150,000.
Ooh. But then maybe we're more wiggle room, I don't know. That's what we gotta think about our financial situation.
Right, but we also have to recognize that up until now, fees were effective at the time of their application.
Correct. But we also didn't have that order in place that's requiring us to do the 1101. Like I said, that's just my thought. And I want you to, you know, feel free to, you know, to think about it and discuss it, because, you know, I have some other ideas in place, but I needed a starting point,
Right,
and
right.
that's my starting point.
Right.
Okay.
I will say, you know, given this and some of the past situations that we've looked at, I made a list of some of the things that are these types of hidden bombs. And I know that we're not going to be accepting new applications, but I'd like to clarify it and draw up some maybe rules and regulations or procedure or what have you to really nail down what's happening. Because, you know, we're seeing projects that had no other board approvals. This is 365, which is why it took so long. Maybe we need to not approve the project, not
Oh.
the final approval, until after the other
Oh,
boards.
absolutely, I'm all in favor of that, and I think if you read the moratorium
Yeah.
that I put down, in the original moratorium of 21, that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
Do not come to us until you have all board approvals. That's right in there, I put it in bold. Because what I don't want to do is run into, you know, matter of fact, the
Well-
reason I wrote that was 365 in mind, because we knew they were going through
Yeah.
changes and all that, we're gonna be bouncing back. And I don't wanna be quoting fees, and then, so what I'm saying, until you get all your board approvals, don't, you know, and you got a final set of drawings.
What I'm looking to do is have this written up in one place,
Yeah.
documented, so that we can just say, here are the rules to get a final permit approval. You know, it's good that it's in the moratorium. There are pieces of this that are in other places, but I mean, it should just be one,
Yep.
and I'm happy to start that draft for us to discuss.
Okay, if you wanna do it, feel free.
And I do.
I just take my notes so I know where I'm going with it. Because to me, they shouldn't be coming to us until they have the final prints, they know what they're actually building. No, I
It
could
doesn't mean
see,
they have the board approval. so-
no, but see, I could see them saying, okay, but they really, until they get through zoning and planning, there's no sense coming to us.
And conservation, I agree. And
There's
yet,
absolutely no
that
sense coming.
seems to be what they do.
They were trying to
Yeah.
get everything promised up front,
Right.
which I would do the same thing. But it makes this board's job more difficult. And that's, would be a good idea to see how water does theirs when we meet with them. Which it's not on here, but I'd like to, I sent Ms. Cameron Crystal an email, I believe yesterday, wondering if they would like to, offering to meet May 16th at 3 o'clock here. I figure the conference room with there, just the Rockland Water and us, we could chat in this room, get to know each other, and
Sure.
the next subject come home, and I put a couple subject matters down for, see if she wanted to choose from.
You gonna bring me a sewer too?
Not right now, they brought the sewer up when I was there, let's see how the water thing
How
goes
many
first.
people they have in the sewer?
I have no idea.
Really?
I think it's not a Rockland sewer, it's Abington sewer.
Yeah, I
So
know.
all I cared about was the Rockland water and the Rockland sewer. 'Cause-
Is that the one that's, their office is right on Summer Street?
Yes,
On the right-hand side?
right, and they basically, when they have a meeting, they have two separate meetings. They have the Abington water and the Rockland water, then a joint.
And then a
meeting.
joint.
Yeah,
Really?
so what I figured we'd just meet with their chairman, who I think is Abington at this one, and the two Rockland members. See what they think, because the Abington board don't vote on the Rockland developments.
Oh, really?
So I'd just like to keep apples for apples so they know how we're thinking, and that's why that letter, just so people know that we're sending a letter to the planning board assessing them of our situation and what we discussed at our last meeting about not accepting any applications for FY '24 greater than 4 bedrooms. We're gonna be sending it to Mr. Lapp, the town administrator, our land use council, the Rockland zoning board, the board of selectmen, the building superintendent, and the Rockland Abington Joint Waterworks. So they will know what's going on with us. I don't think there's any surprises. Anything else? No connections. The only other, I have no update on the I&I work yet, because this week, they just started lining the pipe, so if we're gonna see any input, it'd be that. I'd like to briefly talk about assessing municipal fees. I hope you gave some thought to it. I used, for example, the schools and came up with that if we were to assess them the full fees, it would be $80,000 a year just for the schools. And that's a huge hitter. I mean, the others are minuscule compared to that. So I would say the revenue would probably get out of all municipal buildings would probably be in the vicinity of $110,000, $120,000 a year. If we went,
Excluding the schools.
no, with the schools. One of the big hitter I put down in the school is if we counted the I&I, but hopefully they're gonna be taking that out.
Okay.
Haven't gone up there yet to do that?
I can't, the water's too high.
We can't be.
No, it's still too high.
No, you gave me a sheet that said cost per foot is $7.41
Right.
for 429,000 a year.
Did I correct, did I cheat that? Oh, yours is right, mine's wrong. Oh, no, I know what I did I? Yeah, I made an error in my sheet. I'll double check my figures.
So we're looking at $400,000 a year
Yeah.
for schools only.
That's all right.
Well, the other,
No.
yeah, it is, but the other thing about it is the bird's gonna fall in taxpayer and then I cut it.
Yes, it is.
We could say, take it out of, spare cash.
What they do then is they take it out of the athletic group.
You know, we'll
Yeah,
see
we
it.
can't dictate how
Yeah, I
they
know, I know.
expense
Okay,
it.
yeah, they're gonna do it, but I think the discussion needs to be had. We're gonna charge them the full 741, we're gonna charge them 50%, or do we charge them at all and just struggle? And
Right.
say, give us
Right.
250, 300,000 a year towards I&I.
So I think we
they'd
should,
probably do that.
yeah, they might. That would
That's
probably be most budgetable
Yeah.
for them. I'd still like to know what some other municipalities
Yeah, no,
are doing.
I'm gonna
So
look
let's
into
see
that,
where
and
that
I know
goes.
Water's talking about it, and I think
Yeah.
that's something, it'd be good to talk about, see how they're doing it,
Yep.
because if we go to the town and say, you're gonna have to come up with 300,000 in grant money, that's gonna be, we can't depend on that. We don't know if we'll get the grant or not.
Right.
And plus, we're gonna be applying for all kinds of I&I grants. I personally think it would be lighter on the taxpayer just to just say, look, you're in this boat with us. You helped us get in this boat, you know, so join in a row, grab an oar. And $300,000 a year, I don't think is a bad hit. I think they're still getting off light.
Well, you know, I
And it
think
goes strictly to I&I.
most expenses are paid, most expenses incurred should be paid for. Now, whether we give them the full cost of that expense, or if we discount it, remains to be seen.
Well, see, that's something.
Right now, we're, as you said, we're absorbing the whole cost.
We have to have a good discussion. We have to start swapping ideas on this, because I'd like to put this down for on the agenda to speak with Water on the 16th, and I'd like to have some numbers to throw out and say, hey, here's what we're thinking of doing, rather than just, oh, we want to do it, but how?
Right.
I mean, as, you know, they're gonna be in the same boat that they have to do the repairs, and they have operational costs as well. But our big problem is gonna have to get that I&I so we can bring in some other revenue. And like, just take, for example, one of the reasons that I'm nervous about it, realize that this one, and I think I mentioned it last Thursday night, this 1 year monitoring, they're breaking the town into sections, and they're gonna find where the heavy flows are per section of town. It's still gonna be up to us to get an SSES study into that section and identify the specific sources, unless they happen to fall on one.
Right.
I think up by me, I think there should be a lot of use of water. Sewer should be high over in Hingham Street.
Well,
Those
it's gonna be very interesting to see where because I think we all have perceptions of where, or ideas where it's coming from, but even if they could break it down, say they had 4 quadrants in town, A, B, C, and D, it'd be easy to say go to quadrant 1 and figure that, but they're gonna have 15 of them. And the other thing that's in that, I spoke with them, and the 15 meters, I changed the contract a little bit, that we're gonna keep 2 of them. We'll permanently have 2 of those meters to use as we want to move around to what have you.
We have no meters now?
Flow meters, yeah.
Do we have
Portable
any
flow
now?
meter, we have none. So this way here, we'll have 2, so like find an area later on in life that's hectic, we can go put that in there.
Okay.
Oh,
Because this is,
that's Wilkinson, yeah. Rick's trying to beat him up on a punch list.
Keeping with the old business, Beach Street, I pulled the invoices for the repairs.
I'm glad you said that, because I had a serious
42,000.
concern.
I'm astonished.
I'm flabbergasted, because, I don't mind approving when I see an invoice and I understand for 24,000.
That was what we had agreed to.
Yeah.
And then I knew that there were some more that came in for materials, which it was explained would be in addition to. But
Well, see, this is, we're giving them, to me, we're just giving them carte blanche to do drainage work without,
Well,
and again, maybe this is where a superintendent would come in
this
handy.
is definitely where a superintendent would come in handy.
what it costs.
42,000.
Who's to determine, because my idea of that, I didn't know it was gonna go all the way down down Beach Street into the drain. And I would hopefully, when we saw that quote for 24,000, everything would have been on there.
Or did someone give them permission to run it all the way
Yeah,
down?
I didn't understand that. I
Right.
thought it was 24,000.
Right, well, they didn't have
And that's what we
anybody to
approved,
ask.
the 24,000. Now we've got another 20, we got another 18 we gotta look for.
Did someone give them permission to do it?
It's not for discussion now, but yeah.
Yeah.
The way I guess it works, or way it has worked, is that the sewer department, the water sewer commissioners are the drainage, also the drainage commissioner. So the way it worked is that we would pay for the materials and highway would do the labor. But if I'm paying for materials, that should have been in that $24,000 quote. And if it was gonna exceed that, we should have had the right to see that, not after the fact.
Right.
So that's what we're gonna have to deal with. I'll write an email.
I know Dave Taylor was gonna give us a summary on that work, so
Okay.
that might provide some answers. I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, you wanna hold on this, or is this for me?
That's for you, because you would have a better sense on what's,
Okay,
That's
I'll look
something
into
like that we should get a call. I mean, each one of us should get a call and tell us.
Yeah, well, It's, that, see,
We did
that's,
that,
That's hard to-
on the unions.
yeah, but see, this
Yeah.
is where we're still, this is one of the few things we haven't addressed yet,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. So I think this stuff we're gonna have to muddle our way through.
I mean, yeah, ordinarily the superintendent would have got the call.
Yes.
And
He does have his right to say, okay, you know.
You know, we would rely on his judgment, his or her
you
judgment.
should have some
Yeah.
authority in there.
Right. But I just don't wanna, and I'm not saying he did this, please, I'm not saying
No,
that, this is,
no, no.
I'll say, no, yeah, connected to drain, that may be a damn good reason. I know that one manhole's been a problem for them for years. So I don't doubt the work, but I just was not ready for that extra,
I suspect it's that extra stretch that we weren't,
yeah, well, that's from,
Anticipated.
that's down to the drainage.
Yeah.
that we weren't
Definitely.
Almost
anticipating.
into the woods.
Yeah, it is in the woods.
You gave me ARPA.
Speaking of property, you should still be seeing something from Frank and them.
Okay, all right, because I haven't seen anything yet.
Okay, he's your contact, he knows he's to contact you on it. They have the detail on the digester piping. I gave you what I had on the
I saw
boiler.
something in there.
They were filling in the blanks on, okay, what they were supposed to fill the blanks in on it for. I have that. I don't know what you think. Oh, here it is, yeah. Oh, that's yours. I must have left that at home, because there was the digester boiler itself, I gave you what I had. What was some of the other ones, refresh, there was the,
Is the Green Mountain contract?
oh, they're all in there, that's why.
Okay, yeah, all right. All right, I'll look through it and see what I,
Okay, and what else do you need?
What's going on? I don't know, I'll go through it and see, because I know some things came in through email.
Okay,
I'll save that for Robin's update on the copier. I noticed in the town meeting warrant article, a generator for the town at 300,000. Is that different from what we're
yeah, that's
getting?
different from ours, that's for the town hall and fire station.
Okay. I figured it
One,
was, but,
one generator?
Yeah, it's gonna be portable to go back and forth.
okay. Also, you had mentioned for working for funding in the future, and I'm gonna work with Jess from
Jess, right.
Weston Sampson?
Right, soon as we get this approved, Monday night, if we get approved, that's when we can
Okay,
pull the trigger on that.
all right, because you had mentioned,
That's why she's with Wright
Alcohols,
Pierce.
but
She's with
that's
Wright
not our
Pierce.
representative.
No, I think it's
We-
Markey.
Okay. Markey and Warren, that's right, Pierce. Okay, that takes care of that. 365.
Speaking of town meeting, I got a call from Doug yesterday. I think it's Article 64, 67.
The 2.5?
Yes,
Yeah,
to make some kind of move. The moderator will read to move we move to do something, I've got to approve it.
Okay.
And he asked if I'd be there for any technical questions. I said yes, and Sherry will answer any financial.
Very good. Alright. So moderator's gonna make a small change.
Moderator's got to read the article on the 2.5. He'll be reading the articles in.
Is he reading all of them?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Alright.
Who's the moderator this year?
Kevin Henderson gets elected for every, 3-year terms. And what they asked is once they move that, I guess it's different from the articles because this requires something that needs to be seconded. So he asked me to second it, and I'll say, yeah, I guess I moved to second.
I know they've done that in the past for different things. I've seen it at works.
I've seen it in planning, I never saw it. The last time I saw it was on that overlay district.
Is Doug going to provide us a written?
Yes, matter of fact, it's up there. I'm going up and get copies tomorrow because I've got to get sworn in again.
Okay.
So what I'll do is I'll pick up copies for each of you.
Yeah, I'd like to just keep it with this.
Yeah. Tell her I took that thing online.
Yeah, I know that, right? They didn't say anything to me.
What? Have they asked again?
No. Unless you get Sherry.
At Thursday, we talked about putting some kind of a blurb out on Facebook town page about the I&I work that's going on.
Yes.
Trucks are definitely.
Would you like me to write
noticed.
something up?
Well, I started a draft. Town of Rockland Sewer Department has started the infrastructure project to fix infiltration. Infiltration is blah, blah, blah. And this work consists of manhole and underground pipe repairs. Trucks from Green Mountain and Inland Waters?
Inland Waters.
Yeah, will be on various roads with a police traffic detail where necessary. And the project is expected to be complete by
August,
August is fine.
no, August, I can give you
August
the
is good.
preliminary date is August 18th.
And the department thanks our residents for their patience.
No, it's fine,
Okay.
short and sweet. Tentative schedule will be posted on the,
I wouldn't even go that
like
far.
Robin said, it's, they're.
Because that schedule is so
It
changeable.
changes
I don't
on
even
water
wanna go
levels.
out
If
there,
they can't go, if they can't do it.
I don't even want to go there, but just a short blurb to let the residents know. This is why there are trucks parked in the middle of the street. Do you know who does that at town? Is that Gino?
Gino would, yes.
All right, I'll talk to Gino about that.
It'll be weekly through August 18th.
So I thought we'll put this out now, maybe we'll put another one into June, just
Right.
kind of a,
Well, what I was hoping to do is by June, give them at the June meeting, be able to say, okay, here's where we stand as I&I removal.
Yeah.
Right now, it's not looking gangbusters.
so sad to hear
Because once
that.
you start doing the pipes, make a big difference.
Well, I&I, you could do an SSES study 1 month, and then that area would be dry and it'll show up in another area. It's a horror show.
But that house on Hingham Street, remember the one
Yeah.
that flood? I'd like to know where all the rocks came from.
Well, I know where they came from. Construction.
That's sloppy work.
Oh, it is what it is. We're gonna deal with that in a minute. I remember one time, John Laughlin, he was the superintendent, he brought in a chunk of PVC pipe like that.
Wow.
That they found in a line, and it blocked into a person's home on Pond Street.
I mean, I saw the same thing happen on Weymouth at Pleasant Street by the expressway. Remember that big mess up there?
Yep.
They had to rip the line, take everything out.
Well,
of
this
the
one
ground.
did a number on that house, and it's too bad that woman passed away, but,
That's all I have.
what else you have, kiddo?
Oh, we have 2 applicants for the part-time clerk, and I'll work with Stacy on interviewing.
You do have 2 interviews?
Yeah, she just let me know, so I'm gonna coordinate with her on that.
Okay. Anything you need from us, you let me know.
Okay. I'll talk to Robin, make sure I get the details on what needs to be there. This position reports to the superintendent, so.
Okay. In the meantime, you could report to Robin until we get somebody.
And she'll be doing all the training, so.
Anything else?
Oh, that's it.
Okay.
Oh, wait, yes, we're gonna approve minutes?
Oh, yes, I jumped over that, excuse me. I'd like to make a motion, have you read the minutes?
Yes.
For April, okay, I'd like to make a motion, we approve the minutes of April 4 and April 11th.
Yes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, Mr. DeRoss?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
Yes.
And Mr. Heschman is a yes. Thank you for taking those. They're very
You're
good.
welcome.
They're very good.
We have one for next week.
Great.
Okay,
Okay.
now,
You sit down? Everybody, I'm gonna ask you, please think before you speak, okay? We had a request from the former interim superintendent, Mr. Taylor, to have an open meeting with the board. I'd like to read his email into the record. Oh, here it is. We received this last Wednesday. I think it was right the day after the Board of Selectmen's meeting. To the Rockland Board of Sewer Commissioners. I'd like to request an open forum with the Board of Commissioners. As you know, I served as interim superintendent for a little over 2 years. I believe we accomplished quite a bit during this time. I feel the residents have a right to know what was accomplished and what wasn't during that time. There's a lot of information out there that is not indicative of what actually happened during this time. I feel both myself and the Board of Sewer Commissioners could benefit from an open discussion. I feel there are questions and answers from both parties that all parties involved could be benefit from. Please let me know what date works for the board. I look forward to hearing from you. Dave Taylor. Personally, I'd like to move on, is where I'm at. Okay, wait a minute, let me finish, then everyone has a chance. Did he accomplish? Yes. Do I think other things happen? Yes. I just don't think it'd be a constructive meeting, because I think it's just gonna continue finger pointing. I think it'll continue with innuendos on both parts. Personally, I would like to I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing it from the Board of Selectmen. I know in good faith, I know what we have done and what we've been through. So I think there is misconception on all parties. But I just want to move forward. I don't want to, my personal feeling, I just don't want to dwell on this anymore. I mean, we have a lot in front of us. I appreciate him filling in, and believe me, I know he's still checking up on some of the jobs in the street, and I very much appreciate that. But as far as rehashing old business, we're not going to get anywhere. I feel it'll be counterproductive to where we are right now. I'm afraid it would not burn some bridges, but maybe keep the heated air, or fanning what little flames I think are left. I'm hoping the Board of Selectmen finally stop, or select person finally stops, because I don't think she's helping the situation. Look, that's my opinion only. And I can assure you, none of us have talked about this. And I thought about it long and hard. Honestly, I just think it's going to keep the finger pointing going, and I think it would be counterproductive. That's just me.
I feel an open forum is kind of tricky with the open meeting law, because there's really no set agenda for it. From his letter, it sounds like he does want to discuss his 2 years as interim. I know that when he left, he gave a very good presentation to the Board of Selectmen, and I know that he left us a list of the open projects that he was working on. So I'm not sure what else there is to discuss. If he does have information that's pertinent to what we're doing now, I would recommend that he send us kind of an itemized list of what it is that he'd like to convey. Is it on this project or that project? And from there, then we can consider whether it needs to be added to the agenda. But again, I agree, an open forum of the past 2 years is not gonna be productive.
Again, I'm not against an open forum. What, I'm worried that it'll just turn, oh yeah, you said, I said it.
Exactly.
I don't think it's gonna be productive to the goal of where we have to go.
Well,
We can't keep rehashing the past. I just want to.
we have a lot on our plate, and we don't have time to talk about 2 years past unless it's something pertinent to what we're actually doing today. If it's not related to what we're doing today, our I&I project, our digester boiler, if it's something that we're unaware of, then we would need to know. But other than that, I don't see the point.
We have to go forward.
Excuse me, okay, what do you have to think about it?
We have to go forward. Just go forward. We have too much going on right now. That had something that happened 2 years ago. So we have to go forward. What's in the past is in the past. Like you, same thing. Just want to move forward. You know.
How about this? Why don't we table it for next Tuesday, our meeting? I'll write up a response. We'll discuss that response at the meeting. I don't want to share it with you until we can, all three of us, talk about it together. And tell me if you feel it's appropriate or not at that time. I will send him an email. We are further discussing it. That we don't feel bringing up matters in the past would be productive. Why don't we just do that?
I mean, yeah, why not?
You have to move forward.
Just decline it unless he has something specific that needs to be addressed.
And I'm even hoping we put the selectmen's meeting. I think having this come in that day after that selectmen's meeting, I'm hoping that she didn't fan the flames for that, because I'm hoping that got put to rest. We won't know till the next selectmen's meeting, I guess.
When's that going to be? Next week?
It's supposed to be Monday night, but the town meeting's Monday night.
Town
Yes.
meeting. Yeah.
I hate to be there.
All right. I'll respond to him. I just want to go forward. I really do. I don't feel that they could be productive.
I think we're doing very well.
And again, I appreciate what the help he's given us out on the street and all that. I really do. But I think old matters are old matters.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's go down to the superintendent. You each saw the gentleman's qualifications. He's going to be coming in at May 2nd at 4 o'clock here. Where this is one candidate, I think I could write out my questions, you could write out your questions, you could write out your questions. We'll just go around. If we duplicate them, we'll just cross it off.
Okay.
But at the end of the interview, what I want to do is I want to document the questions we ask. For the public, it's going to be considered an open public meeting. Because it's an open public meeting, if people want to attend, they're welcome to attend. There will be no questions taken from the public. This interview will be recorded for playback the next day at WRPS. So it's not like it's going to be behind closed doors. It will be taped. Anything else on that?
Is Stacy coming for the interview?
I had asked Stacy to come. I'm a firm believer that human resources should be part of that process. And I'm going to tell you why. The last time we looked for superintendent, I was chastised for not checking on the superintendent's qualifications. myself, and so that was not explained to me, and to me, that is the responsibility of the human resources, at least it's always been that wherever I work. But since they said that, if we feel we want to talk to him further or pursue him, I am going to be looking into him.
Okay.
Future meetings, you're very comfortable with what we'd say at 4 o'clock, the third Thursday of every month?
I think so.
Daniel? This is a very sullen group
Yeah.
today. Why?
Just quiet.
But,
You guys all burnt out?
I sat in traffic for 2 hours yesterday, so I'm burnt out.
You burnt out?
Not burnt out. Just did a lot.
Hopefully, Sherry, after this town meeting, it'll just be.
That's right. Well, maybe this is the beginning of the smooth sailing.
That's the beginning
There's not
of
a
the
lot
year.
to talk about.
I think the biggest thing we have right now is this: where the hell we're going to get fees, money.
Money.
I mean, the numbers are the numbers. I think, I really do believe that the one thing I do want to mention, EPA update. The EPA, we have the report due the end of May, and that's just going to be our semi-annual report on what we have done since the last meeting. And again, as I said, there's a lot of effort went into that first one, only because we wanted to make it in the future easier. So it's set up in a plug-and-play module, so what we have to do is input what we have to do. It'll upgrade all our numbers and all that, which will work out pretty well. So that's pretty much done. The only thing that's going to be remaining to be added is Rick's month end, the CWMP draft, which we have, which I want to get into a little bit, and the I&I where we are, and a little update on the I&I metering. I think that's the point.
Would we not include this letter to the board with our plans of suspending applications?
Yes, that'll go into it also.
Yeah, I
That's a
mean,
good point.
There's
I'll
been
say
a
that.
lot of actions that we've been taking that aren't
Right.
we can't.
No, I will say that. It's a good point that letter should go to
We looked at the moratorium and decided we're gonna stay with it as is with no changes for the time being. We are increasing our rates. I mean, there's a lot of, we've
We went to
been doing a lot of work here, yeah.
When we first went.
You know, I never thought of the rate increase,
Yeah,
the rate study.
Yeah. We're following
Yeah,
the
he
rate
has all that. I
study.
know he's plugged in the rate study. I know he plugged in the 25% rate increase. I want to make sure he plugs in that we voted on the additional 10%.
Yeah,
And I think that's good if we put in that. I never thought of that letter to the planning board, that we're making everyone aware of our situation and committing to it.
right.
Because I think what they're gonna wait to do is to see how this vote goes at town meeting for the phosphorus upgrade. Once we get that going, I think that's when we're gonna see the fine for the violations for the 2006. I think they actually are waiting to see this time if we're walking the walk,
Right.
which we have, to
And
me,
this
we've
May
more than done
report
it.
is gonna
We
factor
have
in.
more than done.
The May report is gonna factor into it, because that's
Now,
what
this
they're gonna
board
see.
has done an awful lot.
Yeah, we have.
Well, if we didn't do what we did, there was only two of us, how would you think we'd be down? We would have nothing.
No, I think there'd be a lot of confusion, a lot of who did what, who's doing who. I like it this way, that everyone knows what's going on.
I tell them, down, look at the flow.
Yeah, with this flow the way it is, I mean, I was shocked today to see it at 2.15. But again, I heard there's a northeaster coming in Sunday afternoon, Saturday night.
Oh,
So that's gonna be short-lived, but what I don't want people to do is see those months when we get down to like July and August of 1.8 and say, okay, we can throw the gates open. This way here, we're biding our time. Let's get the I&I repaired, removed, and let's see where we are, and then we will be opening up. But
Technically,
we-
you shouldn't be doing anything until we start.
Right, but the thing is, with these, we already have fees that we haven't seen yet to come in for projects that have been approved, and that's again, another 30,000 gallons a day, or 310,000 that has to come out. So, we're not even removing what we're supposed to for what we have approved. Well, that's all I have to say today.
That's enough.
No, I mean, town meeting is Monday night.
Yeah.
You need to go to Vermont.
I can't, it's gonna rain this weekend. I need to go to Vermont bad.
We need to get to the top of your mountain.
Yeah, I like it up there. With that, if anyone has anything else to say or add,
Nothing.
then I'll take a motion in today's meeting.
I make the motion to end the meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second,
All in favor, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Ms. Valley?
yes.
Mr. Actions, a yes.